Hey guys, how are you doing? So let's just jump in some questions we have here, okay? So two questions, two-part questions. First question is, how many times did you visualize the scene before you won the lottery? And the next question here is, can you speak about the law of attachment? Many of us know the law of detachment, but maybe if you could explain the law of attachment, people will get it more so they can become more detached. Okay, so that's cool. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump right into it. So the first part of the question is winning the lottery and the visualization. So here's something we have to understand before I get into this, okay? It's all in our subconscious, our unconscious mind that we create and attract things into our lives. So for me, when I won the lottery, what I did was I visualized every night, and I recognized that repetition is the secret to success. The more you repeat something, the more it gets impressed into your unconscious mind. And when something gets impressed into the subconscious mind, that is called a new map of reality. So you have to remember that we live in two worlds at the same time. We live in our 3D perspective world, and we also live in the infinite multiverse world, where inside the subconscious there's different realities existing where I have achieved that lottery win. And I see that win through what? Through my visualization. So I would visualize every night right before I went to bed, and I'll fall asleep visualizing. And then throughout the day, I would just casually think about it. But most of my work was done at night. So this is really the secret to this stuff, guys, is we have to teach ourselves how to become masters at visualizing. And this goes beyond the lottery. You can visualize for anything. What I did when I visualized as well for the lottery, guys, I always visualized the end result of the win. I went right to the jackpot win. I went right to the store. I see everything that I won. I didn't create any beginning, but it's the frequency. When you do something frequently, it changes the frequency. So I did it frequently because I was into it. I enjoyed it. And then I would say this, it got to a point when I knew it was close to the win, because it got to a point where I no longer felt like visualizing anymore. And when you don't feel like visualizing anymore, especially after you've been doing it, it's your subconscious mind talking to you and saying, hey, I've got this program. You can chill and relax now. Then I would just visualize occasionally, and then the win happened. And then after that, that's what I used to visualize for other wins. I kept doing it, and then I visualized for other things. So I would give you guys this. If you want your life to change, you have to think about visualizing the end goal. When you can see the end goal, that's when, boom, it pops in, it comes into your reality. All right, next part of the question now is attachment. So what is basically attachment? The law of attachment. We know the law of detachment, and we know the law, now we're going to talk about the law of attachment. So this is attachment. Attachment comes down to one thing. When you are trying and using your regular mind to see specific outcomes of a particular thing that you want, and then we're not only looking for the outcome, but you're also looking for in a particular time frame. So outcome and time frame. Now, what makes the law of attachment so detrimental or so creates a lot of resistance is because when we exercise attachment to something, we are affirming that we don't have that thing. And then also when we attach ourselves to something, we're using the most limited part of our minds. So we're shrinking the possibility to get the thing in a different way. So we're cutting off our options basically. So the law of attachment will always be tied to our conscious logical mind. So whenever we become attached to anything, we are pushing the thing away. And why does it happen? Because again, remember, all of this is taking place where? Unconscious, subconscious mind. So in our subconscious mind, it sees that when you want something, or you're needing something, or you're trying to figure out how or when, it steps back because now the conscious mind is at play. So we send, think about, let me tell you something about attachment. Attachment, the thing about detachment is more energy. You spend more energy with attachment than you do with detachment, because in attachment you cultivate in like a lot of anxiousness, a lot of fear, all these emotions that are driving your subconscious mind to affirm that it's true that you don't have it. While when you're in detachment, you're in more of a peaceful state. You're not affirming to your subconscious you don't have it. Maverick, you're affirming to your subconscious you already have it because it's now neutral. So always remember, detachment will take on a neutral state. Attachment will take on an anxious state. When you're anxious, you're attached. When you're neutral, you're detached. So attachment is all about getting out of your own way. I want to talk about your own way. I'm speaking about in the way of your subconscious mind. And I'll say this too about attachment. The reason why we get attached to things is not your fault, guys. It's because of how we were brought up and grown. We were always grown to be problem solvers. And what happens is our minds get so used to trying to find out how we're going to get stuff. But once you start to learn this knowledge and information, you'll see that the mind is beyond your conscious mind. And it's the ego. See, the ego doesn't like to let go, and it doesn't like to what we call lose. It wants to always figure out how and when. And that's fine. And this is where you can separate attachment and go into detachment. You said, look, it's okay for your mind to try to figure out how or when. It's just not okay for you to go and play along with it. It's okay for you to observe your mind trying to figure out how and when, but it's not okay for you to absorb and get into it and try to figure out how and when. So what I'm saying basically is this: if you want to get free from attachment, watch the mind freely without judgment. So when the mind is trying to say how or when, just analyze and just say, okay, listen, man, that's not our job. And then you get into detachment. So let's go get into detachment. Let's move from attachment to detachment. So if you want to get into the detachment, it comes with this: expect it and just have faith. That's all it is. You just get out. That puts you in detachment. Detachment also, another way you can get into detachment, and it goes back into the visualization aspect of it. When you visualize something in the end, you're in a detachment mode, guys. But when you visualize something with beginning or trying, you're in the attachment mode. So if it's difficult for you to get out of attachment, then do visualizing, because visualizing will help your brain to see the end, and the end is the goal, and the end is in the subconscious, so you never have to worry about how or when. Some people, when they visualize stuff, they try to figure out, well, I see me doing this and when it's happening. Stop doing all of that. Just see it in the end, and you'll get more into the detachment role. So it is very crucial that we understand these are universal laws that many of us weren't taught. But I'll give you statistics. And this is, the number one block for all our manifestation is that we're too attached to what we want. That's it. And many of us don't know that. So another question is, Mark, if I think about it a lot, is that attachment? Not at all. Remember, attachment only comes on when you are tied to how and when. You can think about something all the time and never tied to how or when. You just think about it because it makes you feel good. It's your goal. But anytime you're trying to figure out how or when or why isn't here, you're in attachment. Anytime you just let go and just expect it and then just do your thing, you're in detachment mode. So that is what you want to do to get to your goal. And I'll leave another tip. Always remember, frequently changes the frequency. The more you do it frequently, the more it gets into your subconscious. So when I won the lottery and this to do anything, you got to visualize frequently to get that map or that instruction to the subconscious. When the subconscious gets that instruction, that's when it's going to create your reality. And if I can win the lottery, anyone can win the lottery. If I can do this, you can do it, because the reality exists in all these different places. So don't let your own mind try to talk to you and say, well, you can't get your own house, you can't get the real estate goal, you can't manifest money, you can't do that, because it's just not logical. You got to do all that. The universe is illogical. We are illogical. That's the true essence of it. And to get into illogical is to get into the realm of faith and expectation and seeing an end goal. That's the true intelligence of the universe. Use your regular mind for everyday stuff, for your job, for thinking, for analyzing. But when it comes to the dreams and goals, people, don't use your mind to figure out how, when, or why it's not here, because you're getting in your own way. That's what I want to leave you with. All right? See you next time.